Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you want to be notified. What is going on? Jermell Charlo, Canelo Alvarez, undisputed versus undisputed, the showdown. I mean, it was gonna live up to the hype. This was gonna be the fight. And at the end, it was crazy, right? To say the least. I mean, Jermell Charlo, we obviously said he has the longer reach. He has probably the better footwork. He's the bigger dude. He's taller, right? But the one thing that obviously wasn't on his side was he didn't have no fucking heart. He had no fucking heart. This dude went in the ring, went inside of that ring, survived. He didn't fight. He didn't fight to win. He just fought to survive, and that's what he did. I think in his mind, he feels accomplished. He feels like, well, obviously I didn't get the victory, but at least I go home with 11 mil, you know? And that's just ridiculous. But let's break down, right? We knew what his game plan was going to be. He had to keep moving laterally. He had to stay off the ropes. He had to he had to impose his jab. That was going to have to be his game plan. He had to implement all of that, right? And at that, he had to motherfucking keep Canelo at bay with that jab. Now, the jab was non-existent because Canelo Alvarez, the guy with the shorter reach, out jabbed him. He out jabbed Jermell Charlo. Yes, I like what the. It makes zero sense. He completely got annihilated from round 1 to round 12. Completely annihilated. I mean, they were giving him rounds. Yeah, he won this round because he threw a little bit more than he did the rounds prior. I mean, it was just ridiculous, right? In the 7th round, when he gets knocked down, right, he goes down, and you could just tell he's defeated at that very moment. He's just done. He's done. He was done. He had checked out. He just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna survive." Because the first thing that came out of his mouth after the fight was, "At least I ain't get knocked out like the rest of them." Makes zero sense to me. Makes zero sense to me. How you could feel accomplished, how you could feel good about not getting knocked out. You know, Obviously, I guess you could feel good about not getting knocked out, but your performance just was not there, right? And now you got people just looking at you sideways. You know, you're somebody that now people are gonna be like, well, he didn't. If he ain't go up, if he ain't get up for the most toughest fight that he would ever fight in, the biggest fight he will ever fight in, and he really didn't care, then he's already checked out of boxing. You know, a lot of people had Jermell Charlo high on their pound for pound list. I mean, you had maniacs that had him at number one, right? But I even felt, I mean, Jermell Charlo is a pound for pound fighter. I mean, at 154 pounds, he went undisputed. He had a really good run. He's got a good chance to go in there, maybe not beat Canelo, but at least perform. A respectable performance from him could definitely solidify him. But now that performance, I mean, it just seemed like a money grab. I mean, you had people really asking for their pay-per-view money. You know what I'm saying? Like, dog, give me my shit back. This shit was bullshit. Luckily, the undercard basically saved the shit. Canelo Alvarez's skill set is still there. Fatigues were in question. Fatigue was definitely in question, but the high altitude of Lake Tahoe obviously got him right for this fight. They went on the run. They went out there. They were running. I mean, you could tell Canelo Alvarez is just a different dog. He's a different dog when it comes to fighting. This is a millionaire, a dude that's touching millions, and he's still top dog in the division. You have people that make it and then lose it all. You know what I'm saying? Overnight. And that's one of the key things, right? It's lonely at the top. It's lonely at the top because it's hard. It's easy to make it there, and it's hard to stay there. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to make it there, and it's even harder to stay there, right? So Jermell Charlo basically went in there and fucked up his opportunities. I feel like, I mean, he can still get it back because let's think about it. He still has a good fight that he could make with Tim Tszyu. He still has a Terence Crawford fight that he could possibly make, even though Terence Crawford is saying he doesn't want no parts of him because he basically went inside of the ring and got bent over, right? So, I mean, like, let's be honest. What is Jermell Charlo's next move? I think it's gonna have to be something big, and he's gonna have to get up for it. Canelo Alvarez, look, man, he came up from 154 pounds, obviously, right? But damn, like nobody would have thought, yo, this dude was just gonna lay down and fold, because that's exactly what he went inside of that ring and did last night. He laid down and fold. Talking about Charlo, he folded, and that was just a piss poor performance. I mean, you think you're gonna win a fight on your back foot the whole fucking time, and then basically just hugging the dude, like it's just crazy to me, right? He thought he was gonna. I think that his game plan probably had something to do with, well, we're gonna wait for Canelo to gas out, and in the midst of waiting for Canelo Alvarez to gas out, you let your opportunity go. You know what I'm saying? Pounds, what's going on, man? What's good, bro? What you think about the fight last night, man? Let me know. Let me know. But in the midst of all of that, he just let himself go, right? Jermell Charlo, in the midst of all of that, he didn't have nothing to bring to Canelo. The power was obviously just too much. I thought that Canelo should have got him out of there. I mean, the money wise, look, man, we lost last night, right? We lost last night because the knockout was what we were hoping for. That's what we were putting the money on. That's what we betting on. This is boxing, right? It takes two to tango. Now, one dude came to fight, and the other dude just came to survive, and it's simple as that. If we would have seen a Jermell Charlo that fought Brian Castano, then he could have possibly opened up, and we could have possibly got the knockout by Canelo Alvarez. I don't get why in the hell their game plan was so trash. It's like you had all the physical attributes to possibly beat Canelo Alvarez. Let's say you are taller than Dimitri Bivol, if not the same height. The reach. You have the same reach as him. You have all of these attributes that could possibly pose a lot of trouble to Canelo Alvarez. One thing that we did see from Canelo Alvarez was he was cutting off the ring effectively at points. Again, he still is troubled by cutting off the ring, though, right? At times when he's not lazy, because but it also has to deal with the opponent. If the opponent is even posing any trouble, where Jermell Charlo was kind of not doing shit, so it was like, I'm gonna just walk this dude. Like, I'm just gonna walk with this dude at points, right? But it was times when he would cut off the ring effective, and he would catch Jermell Charlo at the ropes, and he'll cut him off super fast and close on him fast, give him little combinations, and then make Jermell Charlo miss huge. And those were the type of things that I wanted to see from Canelo Alvarez. You know what I'm saying? More head movement and stuff like that. Even though he has great head movement and stuff like that. But though, you know, from I think the John Ryder fight or the Dimitri Bivol fight, I think that he kind of got away from that. His defense was trash. You know what I'm saying? But it might have been the Dimitri Bivol fight where his defense was just like, all right, dog. But it was just frustration. You know what I'm saying? It was obviously just frustration inside of the ring where a guy like Dimitri Bivol just had. He was just too much. Great performance by Canelo. He improved his gas tank. Yep. Team Charlo was banking on a gassed out Nello. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, bro. I think that they were really trying to wait him out. And once he started becoming fatigued, see, they probably bought into the thing where it said, uh the headlines that were saying, oh, Canelo's gas tank is leaving him, you know what I'm saying? Uh shit like that, because in the Dmitry Bivol fight, we seen that the one problem was the fatigue in those later rounds, the frustration, all of that played into effect. And then when we seen John Ryder, same thing, the gas tank just was not there. But last night, we obviously see that Canelo Alvarez, if he chooses to run in Lake Tahoe every night, every night he'd be good. The high altitude at Lake Tahoe, you know what I'm saying, was obviously it obviously played a factor in this fight. I mean, he didn't gas out at any point in that fight. He wasn't gassed out, nothing like that. At the end of the fight, he wasn't gasping hard or nothing. So I think that he now knows that when it's time to train, he has to go to high altitudes and train as well. He probably felt the best of his whole career. You know what I'm saying? And it it just showed that, obviously this dude, we talking about a dude that wears satin to press conferences, wears $5,000 pajamas to press conferences, and in this guy, he's still getting up for these types of fights and he's still the best. I mean, dog, this shit is just ridiculous to me. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy to me, right? The do you know that's why they just say, man, it's hard to make it to the top, man, and it's even harder to stay at the top because once you're getting all that money, you know what I'm saying, you become careless. You become you really don't care no more. You know what I'm saying? You got all the money in the world. You don't gotta train as hard as other people, right? But Canelo Alvarez does. That's what the greats have in common, man. They don't money don't move them. Money don't move them in that sense where they're just gonna say fuck it. It's legendary status that moves them. The money's gonna come. The legendary status is not come. It's not gonna land on your lap if you don't go out there and get it. And that's what landed Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya, Sugar Ray Leonard. It landed. Now it landed Canelo Alvarez. You know what I'm saying? It landed these guys at legendary status because of the things that they that they that they could do. You know, Canelo also corrected his defense in covering up for those uppercuts that Ryder was landing. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you could tell he's been working. You know what I'm saying? He's been working on things that he's seeing inside of the ring. And Eddie Reynoso, obviously the mastermind behind the whole game plan. Obviously he was looking at things like that, and they were probably practicing hella shit on the especially on those uppercuts, because they probably went back, looked at that Ryder fight and said, look at this. You got hit like 60 fucking times with that same shot, and this is how we gonna anticipate it. And Eddie Reynoso, obviously a great trainer, a great trainer to Canelo, an ass trainer to everybody else. But when it's Canelo Alvarez, that's his pride and joy. You know what I'm saying? He takes utmost care of that. So when they see things in those films, or when they see things and they go back and look at those fights, they're definitely looking at all of that, right? And they're definitely looking at their opponent and what he does and capitalize as well. I mean, a lot of shots. I seen Jermell Charlo miss hella shots. Even when he was hitting Canelo Alvarez, it would just hit it would just hit it would just hit his arm. He would graze him half the time. It was just crazy to me. It was crazy to see. It was crazy to see that a judge would give Jermell Charlo a round, 2 rounds. I mean, you could. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, all right, let's just discredit the man. 1 round is the most that I ever gave this man, right? If you wanted to do that, right? But if you don't, that shit was a wash. It was just a wash. This dude literally did nothing. He had one good shot, and then he smothered his work. It's like, what the fuck, dude? It makes zero sense to me how He had one good shot, and I can't remember what round. I think it might have been towards the later rounds, 11th, 12th round, whichever. His Canelo Alvarez clean, and then just smothers his work. Literally just smothers his work. It's like, dog, you're just trying to survive. You're not trying to fight. You're not trying to fight. You didn't come here to fight. If you would, if it's crazy. I know fans are disappointed because a lot of fans were definitely riding high with Jermell Charlo. A lot of people were like, yeah, Jermell Charlo's gonna do this, he gonna do that, you know what I'm saying? And now people are discrediting, oh, that's not that wasn't Jermell Charlo in there. That's not the Jermell Charlo that we knew. But at the end of the day, that was Jermell Charlo. You know what I'm saying? And Jermell Charlo, he didn't have nothing in him. He knew that the skill set was going to be too much, even though he had all the physical attributes, probably the foot speed and everything. But he just knew that IQ wise, he wasn't going to be able to beat him. He knew when those lights got bright, he wasn't going to be able to shine. And it was simple as that. He didn't want to get knocked out, and he didn't want to be a meme, and that's okay. Some people just say fuck it. You know what I'm saying? But that's on him. He took the fight though. You still have to respect him for taking the fight because it was a fight that came out of nowhere. Nobody really would have thought that Jermell Charlo would be fighting Canelo Alvarez, but it happened, right? So you still have to respect the dude for taking on the fight. Now the performance was just like everybody's gonna look at him sideways from now on. Nobody's really gonna be like, oh yeah, Jermell Charlo this, Jermell Charlo that. They're gonna always thinking about he sold. He sold himself for the bag. You know what I'm saying? For the money. For the money. It he sold himself. That was it. There was nothing else. So I mean, look, man, it's crazy to me how you could work all your life, you know what I'm saying? You got the biggest opportunity of your lifetime to become a legend inside of the sport of boxing. Uh and you just throw it all away because the money is what moves you. So I give respect to legends like Canelo Alvarez, man, who are in the gym, training hard, always working, you know what I'm saying, and staying out the way, you know what I mean? Plays his golf on the weekends, has tournaments, stuff like that, but stays out the fucking way. You know what I'm saying? Does his thing, gets the money, and then and he goes inside of the ring and he puts on great performances. You know what I'm saying? Has he lost a step? Definitely not. Definitely not. He hasn't lost a step. I mean, his last two fights weren't the greatest. We seen he had got after the Dimitri Bivol fight, he went and got hand surgery. After that, he took a tune-up fight with John Ryder. He didn't look the greatest in that John Ryder fight, but he knocked him down like twice, I think. Right? He knocked him down. You know what I'm saying? Could he have gotten him out of there? I feel like he could have, but I don't think he was 100% confident in his hand being able to stand up, especially if you see that hand and it bucks back. You see what I'm saying? He probably didn't feel as confident. Now, now last night he was 100% confident from beginning to end. He beat his ass from pillar to post. Simple as that. And he was 100% confident. You could just tell the confidence level was there. He was just having fun inside of that ring. It was like he if he didn't have a bad fight against Ryder or Dimitri Bivol. But that's who Canelo Alvarez is. That's the Canelo Alvarez that we know. Jermell Charlo, we know Jermell Charlo for being a tough dude, man, who fought in tough fights. Uh, got outboxed in one fight, supposedly very controversial. You know what I'm saying? Very controversial. Tony Harrison victory on that night. But and then obviously Brian Castano. Brian Castano, part one was obviously a draw, and a lot of people felt, yo, the Brian Castano won that fight. Me myself, I also thought that Brian Castano won that fight. But it is what it is. That's how it is. We seen the Erickson Lubin, Jesus Ramos fight, and look at that. Look what happened. You know what I'm saying? So the judges, they make their mind up for whoever, whenever. And 10 minutes before the fight, and then they go out there and they don't even look at the fight, and they just fucking put whatever on the score on their judge card. So it's crazy. It's crazy. But Canelo Alvarez is a dog, man. He's a dog. He's a dog. I mean, it's something that we haven't seen inside of the sport of boxing uh for the last since Mayweather left. You know what I'm saying? And that's legendary status. Obviously, second runner up to that is obviously Terrence Crawford, another guy who stays in the gym, is always prepared, and he's ready to go. And that's what those. I mean, you can't. Those guys are legends, man. That's just the type of fighters they are. They, the money don't move them. It's the legendary status, and they gonna get that gradually. You know what I'm saying? But Canelo Alvarez on an impressive performance. I thought it was impressive. I thought that what he did was it was just I mean it was obviously easy work for him. You know what I'm saying? And the motivation, before the fight was obviously a dumb one because he would be like he never believed in my skill, and that's what he was kind of getting his like, oh yeah, I'm about to fuck this dude up. I'm getting my momentum up, whatever the motivation that he was getting and shit like that. You know, that's what his motivation was. You know what I'm saying? Salute, my guy, Mark Nash, bro. What's going on, my guy, man? Everybody follow Mark Nash, man. The truth, right there, man. What you think about the fight, bro? What you think about the fight? But Jermell Charlo, in my opinion, man, I mean, he got that 11 mil secured, but he didn't bring the fight, man. He just didn't bring the fight. It disappointed me. The reason it disappointed fans because obviously a lot of people were riding with Jermell Charlo. A lot of people thought, yo, Jermell could actually pull something off. He has a lot of the physical attributes, same attributes that Dimitri Bivol has. He could possibly get the job done. And a lot of people felt like that. You know what I'm saying? He could possibly get the job done. Then, obviously, a lot of people were like, hell no, he's not getting a job done. You got this guy coming up from 154 pounds. Yes, he might have those physical attributes, but it's going to be very tough for him to get a victory over a guy like Canelo Alvarez. So the best possible outcome for him would have been you go in there and you box and show some warrior like shit and open up, start fighting. At least fight this dude back. Even if you lose in the scorecards, at least you fought. You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't the case though. And that's the big problem. That was the biggest problem for me. It wasn't the case. The case was after the fight, he gonna say, at least I ain't get knocked out like all the rest. Like, what? Come on, dog. That's what you was worried about the whole time? So you weren't even worried about winning. You didn't really even have nothing to say about winning. It is it just makes zero sense to me. It makes zero sense to me why fighters do that. Why this is the biggest fight of your career, and you chose to go out like that. Makes zero sense. I mean, Terence Crawford said it best. You know what I'm saying? He got bent over in that motherfucking ring. That's exactly what happened. He got bent over, you know, and a lot, it was just bad. It was horrible. It was horrible from Jermell Charlo's performance and shit. I'm sure. I guess he probably feels good about his performance because he didn't get knocked out, and that's cool and all. At least he gets to go home to his wife, 11 million strong. But the fans are not gonna like that. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? He's the boxer. He's the one inside of the ring. Whatever, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the fans also, you know what I'm saying? A lot of fans gonna be like, man, fuck that. I don't want to see Jermell Charlo. And then a lot of fans gonna turn to haters quick. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it goes inside of the sport of boxing. You're a fan, and then all of a sudden, boom, you a hater. It's like, damn. You know what I'm saying? But shit like that, performances like that, showings like that, that's what makes people bat an eye. They're like, yo, I don't know about this dude no more. I thought this dude was the truth. And this dude gonna go in there and he just gonna survive. I mean, what? Like your highlight of the night was survival. Like the highlight of your night was literally right after the fight. That was the highlight of Jermell Charlo's night. Right after the fight, because guess what? He didn't get knocked out. He said it. He said, "Fuck, at least I ain't get knocked out." Indeed, you did not. But indeed, you didn't win either. You know what I'm saying? So, he, he he's not mad about the loss. You know what I mean? He's not mad about the loss. The loss is just another loss on the record. You know what I'm saying? He's a 154-pound fighter. You know, he doesn't care about no loss. You know what I'm saying? He went up to 168 in a supposed attempt to dare to be great. He came up hella short because it wasn't even it wasn't even he came up short. He came up big. Like, oh, what the hell? It makes zero sense. Zero sense. Mario Barrios, congratulations, man. You know what I'm saying? At first, I thought Ugas was, putting his work in. You know what I'm saying? I thought Ugas was doing his thing. All of a sudden, I checked back on the fight, and guess what? Ugas' face looked like he got hit with a bat by Mario Barrios. You know what I'm saying? Mario Barrios is a good B plus fighter, man. Good B plus fighter. You know what I'm saying? Ain't gonna be able to get up to them dudes at the top, but a good fighter, especially somebody who's gonna be able to test a fighter and shit like that. Yes, that's a good fighter to go to. He's a good fighter. He's not a bad fighter. He's not a horrible fighter. He's a good fighter. And he's been in fights with good guys. You know what I'm saying? Dudes that are great. Like Tank, like Keith Thurman, and now Ugas. So congratulations to him, man. He finally got a dub. You know what I'm saying? He finally got a dubski. You know what I mean? He put on a performance, man. Elijah Garcia. You know what I'm saying? Nobody thought that he was gonna knock out Resendez. I mean, Resendez is a tough dude, whatever. I went back, looked at if Sergeant, you watching this? I went back, looked at the Elijah Garcia. Yeah, I was like, man, I know this kid, man. And then Resendez, of course. You know what I mean? But I mean, that was a very good fight. Very good fucking fight. That was a very good fight. Who else? Erickson Lubin, Erickson Lubin, Jesus Ramos. A fight that I didn't watch closely, right? A fight that gives, I'm at a party. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glancing, but it wasn't like 100%. So a lot of people felt like that was a robbery. Now, a lot of people felt like it was just a robbery, a blatant robbery, and the shit it should have a fucking immediate rematch to that fight. And shit, those judges need to be under fire. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Let's see the rematch. I'll probably watch it this time. I thought Jesus Ramos, to be honest, I thought he would have knocked the dude out. I really thought he would have knocked Erickson Lubin out. Erickson Lubin is a dude that has been through wars. You know what I'm saying? Been through a war with uh, Charlo, been through war with Fandora, been through wars. You know what I'm saying? So it, I thought Jesus Ramos, especially after that performance against Joey Spencer, I thought that he was just gonna come in and maul dude. You know what I'm saying? But Erickson Lubin, Jesus Ramos, the robbery, we need the rematch. Let's get the rematch in. Because from what I saw, obviously Jesus Ramos was coming forward. Erickson Lubin was on the back foot. And from the rounds that I saw, I had Jesus Ramos winning those 4 rounds. You know what I'm saying? And I probably watched around probably like 8 rounds. You know what I'm saying? Probably missed around 4. So from watching, glancing, you have Jesus Ramos coming forward with effective aggression. You know what I'm saying? And he's putting in work. Erickson Lubin is really just doing the Charlo. You know what I'm saying? The same game plan. So in fact, I just didn't see. I didn't. I would have to go back and really watch the whole fight to really be like, oh, it was a blatant robbery, this and that. You know what I'm saying? But from what I was watching around 8 rounds. I want to say maybe 7. And from those rounds that I actually captivated, I felt like Jesus Ramos was doing enough to win those rounds. I didn't feel like he was doing anything, you know what I'm saying, too crazy. You know what I mean? And I didn't feel like Erickson Lubin in those rounds that I was watching, I didn't feel like he was really doing anything to win those rounds. So I don't know what the judges were watching, but I already had it like 7 to what? To it got to be to 5 then if I was only watching 7 rounds and I got Jesus Ramos winning all of these, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. And it was a unanimous decision at that because one judge out of 117, 111 gave him only 3 rounds, which is disrespectful. Because that's disrespectful because from what I saw, won 3 rounds and he won, bruh. He won way more than that. But the main event, that's what I was most excited about. You know what I'm saying? Because I thought it was just gonna be great. I thought Charlo would open up. I thought that Charlo he disappointed me. No, he didn't only disappoint the fans. He disappointed me. He disappointed me because he didn't get knocked out. If he would have got knocked out, that would have been that would have been it. You know what I'm saying? We would have made it. You know what I mean? We would have got paid. You know what I'm saying? Fucked up the bag. Fucked up the bag just because he wants to survive. You know what I'm saying? I thought Canelo Alvarez could have got him out of there in that 7th round, though, man. He just stepped foot on that, man. But it is what it is, man. All in all, Jermell Charlo needs to take his ass back down to 154 pounds. 168 pounds is not your weight class. That's not your weight division. You don't look good in 168 pounds. And especially if you're gonna go in the ring and just not try to get in, try not to get knocked out. Tim Tszyu is waiting for you at 154 pounds, and I think that'll probably be the best thing for Jermell Charlo. I think that the PBC might be done with Jermell Charlo. They're just gonna feed his ass to Tim Tszyu. To be honest, it ain't no point. Ain't no point of keeping this dude around. You know what I mean? He's a good fighter, but he's up in age and got his payday, and it's time for him to move on. I think that Tim Tszyu fight is waiting for him. You know what I'm saying? Terence Crawford fight. Terence Crawford said, I don't want nothing to do with this dude because he got bent over inside the ring versus Canelo Alvarez. So I think that the best possible outcome for him be fighting Tim Tszyu in Australia and getting another bag. That's another bag in itself, right? He got 11 for Canelo. He might be getting like 5, 6, 7 mil in Australia. So that's a great fight for the fans, man. That's another good fight that he could be in. Terence Crawford, if he gets the opportunity to fight Terence Crawford, that's another great fight to be in. Terence Crawford is a very skilled fighter, and I ain't gonna lie to you. As of last night and after that fight, I got Terence Crawford beating Jermell Charlo very comfortable. And if not, putting the same ass whooping he put on Earl Spence Jr. Now, Jermell Charlo came out last night. They asked him who he won next, and he said he wants Terence Crawford. Let's make it happen. I know you got shit going on with Earl Spence right now, but after that, let's get it cracking. And do you see Jermell Charlo beating Terence Crawford? Because I surely do not. You know what I'm saying? Terence Crawford could captivate 154 pounds again. But I think that if he fights in between that, Jermell fights Tim Tszyu, gets that Australian bag, yo, and if he loses, then it probably could be Terence Crawford versus Tim Tszyu. I mean, there are outcomes to these fights. Tim Tszyu is an innocent bystander right now. You know what I mean? He's just bystanding. He's just standing in the side on the sidelines, waiting for coach to put him in the game. You know what I'm saying? I think that Tim Tszyu got a lot of skill. He's gonna pose a lot of trouble at 154 pounds. He's one of them guys at 154 pounds. You know what I'm saying? And he's the truth. And I want to see the fight Jermell Charlo versus Tim Tszyu in Australia. Thousands of fans, the atmosphere. Oh, and let's talk about the atmosphere, man. Canelo brings out the most, you know what I'm saying, high end people I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? You had Jay Balvin there, you got Floyd Mayweather there, Steve Aoki in there. You had Devin Haney in there. I mean, it was celebrity after celebrity after celebrity. It was like walking into a gala. You know what I'm saying? Like if they rolled out the red carpet and was taking pictures outside of all of the people, and then you know what I'm saying, award show. Like if you was at the Grammys, I mean, people was out there showed up and showed out. You know what I'm saying? A lot of money was in the building last night. But that's what Canelo does. He brings out the those high end fans, upscale, luxurious. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it go. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you want to be notified. And we out, man.